Okay, my friends, if you remember, I had this Vinotemp wine cooler in my shop last month with a refrigerant leak that we thought we fixed and or we couldn't find. And so we emptied the seal system, we pulled the vacuum, we changed the dryer. The customer got it back. A couple days later, it started leaking, or it wasn't working. A couple days later, it was back to where it was. So what happened was, after I got it back in here, I started doing some more testing because it's an R600A unit and it's difficult to find leaks. So what I did was I pressurized the system with 410A because it's a high pressure fluorocarbon, and then I used my sniffer to find the leak, and I was picking up some leaks down here in this area. So then I decided to pull the drain pan out. This is the drain pan, and look what we got here. Look how corroded that heater loop is, and it was actually cracked right here. It's actually broken. So right there, pretty bad. So what we're going to do is, we have a piece of 3/16 tubing here. We're going to make a new heater loop, sweat it in there, and take this tap valve off and put a process port here on the process line and button this thing back up. Just want to let you know that because we finally found the leak. Be back. Okay, this is what I did. Here's the old heater loop, which was in there like that, which fit into this drain pan like this. And probably because it was underwater all the time, that this tubing just corroded. They could have put some kind of coating on it to reduce that. But anyway, this is what I did. I got a piece of 3/16 tubing and I made this, which will go in here like that. Problem is, this is 3/16, smallest tubing I have. This is more like an 1/8. I don't have any swaging tools. I don't have anything this size. So what I did was, I used some tools I had around the shop to ream this out so I could fit this 1/8 tubing into this rigged up heater loop. Go in like that. We'll weld that in there, sweat that in both ends. Okay, and be very careful not to put too much solder on there so it doesn't plug it up. So this is going to go in like this, just like that. I put a process port here on the process tube, and I also soldered that hole shut from the line tap valve. So this is what we're going to do next. Stand by. Okay, we got that soldered in. So before we put the drain pan in there and put this back on, we're going to pressurize it to make sure we don't have any leaks. Okay, we're filling it up with nitrogen. Okay, let's get some soap bubbles. Check all the welds here. Okay, that all looks good. So before I put the drain pan, before I drain the nitrogen out, I'm going to put the drain pan in. Figure out how to get that in there. Make sure nothing breaks while we do that. All right. Okay. Drain pan's back in, whatever you want to call this thing. Here's the drain hose that's coming from inside. It goes in here, it fills up with water, and the hot gas, or the hot heat from the heater loop, evaporates the water. Now, this is the original. This was the original loop here. Looks like 1/8 tubing, and it's really thin, and it's probably the reason why it didn't last. What we put in here was 3/16 tubing. As you can see, the joints here, and I had to really work that out to get that opened up so I can get, you know, because I didn't have a tool that small. Anyway, we got that done. So now we're pretty much finished. We got pressure in here. It's holding now, 150 pounds. That's pretty good. So now we'll pull a vacuum on it and charge it up with 1.96 ounces of butane and see where we're at. See you later. Okay, we have just completed about a 3 or 4 hour vacuum pump down on this machine. You can see our gauges are down, all the way down. So now I'm going to weigh in the exact amount of butane and get this baby back up and running. Okay, so we are ready to charge up this system with 1.96 ounces of R600A. It comes out to, it's at 17.8, that's 15.84. So we're going to open this up. $15.8. Okay, done. And that's it. We're going to turn it on, of course, and check it and make sure it's working. But any questions, feel free to reach out. Thanks for watching. Okay, so we let this thing run overnight. And one more thing I wanted to point out before we close out this video. This door is warped. If I take this clamp off here, you can see they got all these rubber seals. You can see the light in there. You see that light? These customer put these rubber gaskets on there that stick on to try to reduce the amount of air infiltration. However, what I did here is I'm pulling this with this clamp. See, I'm pulling the door shut, and that's making a nice tight seal. So the door is warped. Anyway, what we're going to do here is the people are coming to pick it up, so we're getting it ready to be delivered. But in the meantime, I wanted to show you and explain why this thing broke to begin with. With that wide gap there, what I noticed when this was running in the shop was that it didn't stay off very long. It would run, it would reach temperature, and then it would shut off, and then within a matter of a few minutes it would come back on because of that air leak. And that is the reason why that drain container there built up so much condensation, so much water, that heater loop was actually soaking in the water. It wasn't dripping in, it was just kind of flooding in there. That's my understanding of why this thing broke to begin with. So I think the original problem was the door, which caused these problems. Alright, so I just wanted to mention that before we close out the video. Thanks for watching.